Addiction affects more than just habits. It changes the way we think, feel, and live. Whether it's drugs, alcohol, pornography, gaming, or even behaviors like excessive shopping or social media use, addiction slowly takes control of our minds and bodies. It impacts our health, our relationships, our finances, and even our ability to make decisions. In this video, we will explore the top 10 effects of addiction on yourself, showing how it alters brain chemistry, weakens self-control, damages mental and physical health, and disrupts every aspect of life. Understanding these effects is the first step toward recognizing the problem and taking action to regain control. This is not just awareness, it's a wake-up call to protect yourself and your future from the hidden dangers of addiction. Alteration of brain chemistry: how addiction changes neurotransmitter balance and affects mental functions. Decline in physical health: the toll on organs, immunity, and overall body functioning. Mental health disorders: increased risk of depression, anxiety, and mood instability. Impaired decision making: reduced ability to think clearly and make rational choices. Loss of self-control: difficulty resisting urges, leading to compulsive behavior. Damage to self-esteem and identity: feeling of shame, guilt, and loss of self-worth. Social isolation: withdrawal from friends, family, and healthy relationships. Financial instability: wasting money on the addiction, leading to debt or poverty. Neglect of responsibilities: decline in work, studies, and personal obligations. Increased risk of mortality: higher chances of accidents, overdoses, and health complications leading to early death. Addiction fundamentally alters brain chemistry, affecting how the brain processes pleasure, reward, and motivation. When a person repeatedly engages in addictive behavior or consumes addictive substances, chemicals such as dopamine flood the brain, producing intense feelings of pleasure or relief. Over time, the brain adapts to these unnatural levels of stimulation by reducing the sensitivity of its reward system, making normal activities less satisfying. This creates a dependency where the individual increasingly relies on the addictive substance or behavior to feel normal or to experience pleasure. Cognitive functions, including memory, attention, and learning, can also be impaired due to these chemical changes. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision making, impulse control, and judgment, becomes less effective, making it harder for the person to resist cravings or consider long-term consequences. This neurological shift explains why addiction is often described as a chronic brain disorder rather than a simple lack of willpower. Recognizing that addiction rewires the brain emphasizes the importance of professional intervention, therapy, and structured support for recovery. Understanding these changes helps both the individual and their loved ones approach addiction with empathy, patience, and a focus on rehabilitation rather than blame, making it possible to restore balance and regain control over life. Addiction takes a serious toll on physical health, affecting nearly every system in the body. Substance addictions, such as drugs, alcohol, or nicotine, directly harm vital organs like the heart, liver, lungs, and kidneys, often leading to chronic diseases, organ failure, or other life-threatening conditions. Behavioral addictions, such as overeating, gaming, or excessive social media use, may indirectly damage physical health by promoting sedentary lifestyles, poor nutrition, or disrupted sleep patterns. Over time, these habits weaken the immune system, making the body more vulnerable to infections and illnesses. Chronic stress associated with addiction can also increase blood pressure, disrupt hormone balance, and contribute to fatigue or chronic pain. Beyond long-term effects, addiction often leads to risky behaviors such as unsafe driving, accidents, or exposure to harmful environments, further endangering physical well-being. Medical research consistently shows that early intervention is critical in preventing irreversible damage. Regular checkups, proper nutrition, exercise, and timely professional care can mitigate some of these effects. But recovery becomes more difficult the longer addiction persists. Understanding the physical consequences of addiction underscores the importance of awareness, prevention, and prompt action, highlighting that protecting one's body is as essential as addressing the mental and emotional impacts of addictive behavior. Addiction has a profound impact on mental health, significantly increasing the risk of disorders such as depression, anxiety, and mood instability. The brain's reward system becomes hijacked by the addictive substance or behavior, leading to chemical imbalances that affect emotions, motivation, and overall cognitive function. Individuals may experience persistent feelings of sadness, irritability, or restlessness, and may struggle to find enjoyment in everyday activities that once brought satisfaction. Anxiety often arises from the constant preoccupation with obtaining the addictive substance or engaging in the addictive behavior, coupled with guilt or fear of consequences. Over time, mental health and addiction form a vicious cycle. The addiction exacerbates psychological distress, and the resulting emotional discomfort drives the individual further into the addictive behavior. Cognitive functions such as attention, memory, and problem solving can also be impaired, making it harder to cope with stress or make rational decisions. Left unaddressed, these mental health challenges can severely diminish quality of life, relationships, and personal achievement. Medical professionals emphasize the importance of integrated treatment approaches that address both addiction and underlying mental health issues simultaneously. Therapy, counseling, medication when appropriate, and support networks are essential for restoring balance, improving emotional resilience, and breaking the cycle of addiction. Addiction severely impairs decision-making, making it difficult for individuals to think clearly or act rationally. The repeated exposure to addictive substances or behaviors alters the brain's prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for planning, judgment, and impulse control. As a result, the person begins to prioritize the addiction over logical reasoning, personal safety, and long-term goals. Cravings become intense, and the brain interprets the addictive behavior as an urgent need, often overriding normal caution or consideration of consequences. This explains why individuals may continue harmful habits despite knowing the risks to their health, relationships, or finances. Impaired decision-making also affects daily life, leading to choices that compromise work performance, academic success, or social responsibilities. Furthermore, addiction diminishes the ability to evaluate risks accurately, increasing vulnerability to accidents, legal problems, or unsafe situations. Even well-intentioned efforts to quit can be undermined by this altered cognitive function, making professional intervention, structured support, and behavioral therapy critical for recovery. Recognizing that poor decisions during addiction are not simply willpower failures but results of brain changes allows for empathy, better treatment, and effective strategies to rebuild healthy judgment and self-control over time. Addressing this cognitive impairment is essential for lasting recovery and regaining control over life. Addiction significantly reduces self-control, making it extremely difficult for individuals to resist urges or stop engaging in harmful behaviors. This loss of control is rooted in changes to the brain's reward system, particularly the pathways involving dopamine, which create intense cravings and compulsions. Over time, the brain becomes dependent on the addictive substance or activity to experience pleasure or relief, weakening natural self-regulation mechanisms. Even when individuals are aware of the negative consequences, such as health risks, damaged relationships, or financial problems, they may find themselves unable to refrain from the addictive behavior. This compulsivity often leads to repeated cycles of indulgence, guilt, and relapse, further reinforcing the addiction. The struggle with self-control is not a reflection of personal weakness. Rather, it is a neurological effect of prolonged exposure to addictive stimuli. Restoring self-control typically requires structured interventions, including therapy, habit replacement strategies, and sometimes medication to reduce cravings. Mindfulness, behavioral techniques, and support groups also play a critical role in strengthening the individual's ability to resist impulses. Understanding that addiction diminishes self-control emphasizes the importance of empathy, early intervention, and consistent support. With the right treatment and coping strategies, individuals can gradually regain their ability to make conscious, healthy choices and break free from the cycle of compulsive behavior. Addiction can severely damage self-esteem and a person's sense of identity. Individuals struggling with addiction often experience feelings of guilt, shame, and worthlessness because they are unable to control their behavior despite knowing its harmful consequences. This internal conflict can erode confidence and create a negative self-image, making the person feel trapped in a cycle they cannot escape. Over time, they may begin to define themselves by their addiction, allowing it to overshadow their talents, goals, and personal values. This loss of identity further reinforces the addictive behavior, as the individual may use the substance or activity to cope with emotional pain or to temporarily escape feelings of inadequacy. Social judgment, criticism, or isolation can worsen these feelings, intensifying the sense of failure and hopelessness. Rebuilding self-esteem is a crucial component of recovery and involves both psychological support and personal effort. Counseling, cognitive behavioral therapy, and supportive communities can help individuals reconnect with their strengths, redefine their self-image, and separate their identity from the addiction. By restoring confidence and self-worth, people regain the motivation and resilience needed to break free from harmful patterns and reclaim control over their lives, creating a healthier and more fulfilling future. Addiction often leads to social isolation, causing individuals to withdraw from friends, family, and supportive communities. As the addictive behavior becomes the central focus of their life, relationships can suffer due to neglect, broken trust, and frequent conflicts. People struggling with addiction may avoid social interactions out of shame, fear of judgment, or the need to hide their behavior, which further deepens isolation. Over time, this withdrawal can reduce opportunities for emotional support, making it more difficult to cope with stress or seek help. Social isolation also reinforces the addiction cycle, as individuals turn to the substance or behavior to fill the emotional void created by disconnected relationships. In children and adolescents, this can interfere with school performance, peer development, and healthy social skills, while adults may experience professional setbacks and strained family dynamics. Medical and psychological research shows that strong social support is a protective factor against relapse and can significantly improve recovery outcomes. Rebuilding connections requires intentional effort, including open communication, family or group therapy, and participation in support networks. Strengthening social bonds helps individuals regain a sense of belonging, reduces feelings of loneliness, and provides encouragement and accountability, all of which are essential in overcoming addiction and restoring a balanced, healthy life. Addiction can cause severe financial instability, as individuals often spend significant amounts of money to sustain their habit. This can include purchasing drugs, alcohol, gaming subscriptions, gambling stakes, or other items related to behavioral addictions. Over time, these expenditures accumulate, leading to debt, depletion of savings, and an inability to meet essential living expenses such as rent, utilities, or health care. Financial stress adds another layer of pressure, often exacerbating the addiction as individuals may engage in risky or impulsive behavior to obtain money. In severe cases, people may resort to theft, fraud, or other illegal activities, further jeopardizing their freedom and future stability. Beyond immediate monetary losses, Financial instability caused by addiction can harm credit scores, reduce career opportunities, and create long-term barriers to achieving personal goals. Recovery involves not only addressing the addictive behavior, but also rebuilding financial responsibility through budgeting, financial counseling, and creating healthy spending habits. Awareness of the financial consequences can serve as a motivator for change, highlighting the broader impact addiction has on life beyond health and relationships. By restoring financial control, individuals can regain independence, reduce stress, and support a sustainable, addiction-free lifestyle. Addiction often leads to the neglect of personal and professional responsibilities, disrupting nearly every aspect of daily life. Individuals struggling with addiction may prioritize their habit over work, studies, or household duties, causing declines in performance and reliability. In students, this can result in poor academic achievement, missed classes, or dropping out of school. In adults, addiction may lead to absenteeism, job loss, or decreased productivity, which in turn can increase stress and financial instability. Personal responsibilities, such as caring for family members or maintaining a home, are frequently neglected, creating tension and conflict within relationships. Over time, this pattern of avoidance and neglect reinforces the addictive behavior, as the individual may feel overwhelmed or incapable of managing obligations, turning further to the addiction as a coping mechanism. The cycle can also lead to social judgment, shame, and isolation, making recovery more challenging. Effective treatment involves addressing both the addiction and its impact on daily functioning. Strategies include structured routines, behavioral therapy, accountability systems, and gradual reintegration into work, school, and family responsibilities. By restoring attention to personal obligations, individuals rebuild self-discipline, confidence, and stability, which are critical for long-term recovery and a balanced, healthy life. Addiction significantly increases the risk of mortality, making it one of the most serious consequences for individuals who struggle with harmful substances or behaviors. Substance addictions, such as drugs, alcohol, or nicotine, directly impact vital organs and can lead to life-threatening conditions including heart disease, liver failure, respiratory problems, or overdoses. Behavioral addictions, while not always immediately lethal, also carry serious risks. For example, gambling or extreme gaming can indirectly contribute to dangerous situations, neglect of health, or stress-related illnesses. Addiction often leads individuals to engage in high-risk behaviors such as unsafe driving, criminal activities, or unprotected sexual encounters, further elevating the likelihood of accidents, injuries, or legal consequences. Chronic stress, poor nutrition, and lack of sleep associated with addiction weaken the body's resilience, making it more vulnerable to illness and premature death. Early intervention and treatment are essential to reduce these risks, including medical care, therapy, and lifestyle changes that restore health and safety. Recognizing addiction as a life-threatening condition emphasizes the importance of timely action and support. By addressing the addiction comprehensively, individuals not only improve their quality of life, but also significantly increase their chances of longevity and survival, making recovery a matter of life and death. Your life, health, and future are far more valuable than any temporary pleasure an addiction can provide. Do not allow a habit to control you or steal your potential. Seek help, set boundaries, and replace harmful behaviors with positive choices. Every step you take toward overcoming addiction is a step toward reclaiming your life. Remember, you have the strength to break free, and the best time to start is now. Protect yourself, your dreams, and your future from the destructive grip of addiction.